We're recording. You're all set. Sorry.
No, no problem. So let's see if I can convince you on, that you're in the right place being here with some statistics on blogs. So I'm going to throw some numbers and then I'm going to tell you what's behind these numbers. So 70 million, over 2043%. What? Well, 70 million posts being published each month by WordPress users. WordPress. Uh, 2000 plus bloggers who write articles of over 2000 words are far more likely to have strong results. And you'll ask me, what does it mean, strong results? Or, of course, this is an average number and it's a very general qualification, strong results, but it means, of course, eyeballs on your blog posts, right? So longer articles seem to be more successful than shorter articles. I have another slide, by the way, on because there's a lot of discussions about what's the right length for a blog post, right? So I'll have a slide about that. 43% of people admit to skimming blog posts. And you'll ask me, well, why is this important at all? Well, it's important because it's quite a percentage. And so you better really attract the attention of your reader through the header, through the featured photo that you use for your blog article. So you see what I'm going with this, the importance of this value here. A lot of people are just skimming through blog posts, okay? So let's grab their attention. And then another trio of numbers, 434%, 97%, 77%. Okay, so these numbers refer to what? Websites that also have a blog are shown to have 434% more indexed pages. This means that Google is indexing them, and so you have more probability of ranking high on Google. Okay, so if you have a business and you add the page with the blog, in average, websites that also have a blog are shown to have 434% more index pages. Companies who blog get 97% more links to their websites. So they almost, this 97% is kind of strange because that kind of means they decrease, but no, it means like more. So they almost double the folks that link to their websites, the click-through, like it's called, the click-through their website. And then Pinterest, 77, forget about this, this is from another presentation. 77% of internet users use blogs. Let me get there. Of internet users read blogs, 77%. So it's a lot, right? This is, of course, all in general. Some more statistics: 55%, 62%, 23%. Well, blogging leads to 55% more website visitors. So if your website has a blog, then again, there's 55% more website visitors to your site because you have a blog. Producing content, any type of content included for blog posts, costs 62% less than traditional marketing formats, but generates 3 times the leads. So this is a very, very important number here. And 23% of social media posts contain links to blogs. By the way, do not be frantically taking notes if you are, because of course that I will send you this presentation as a PDF at the end of the session today still. But these are numbers just to keep in mind, 126 businesses that blog have 126% higher lead growth than those that do not blog. So if you already have your website for your business, seriously consider including a new page called blog or called whatever you want. Sometimes it's called news or articles, or because in average you will likely have 126% higher lead growth, more eyes your site if you do that. Companies who blog get 97% more links to their websites. Maybe this is repeated from last slide. I can't remember. And I got that same mistake here. Okay, so hopefully these statistics have convinced you that you are in the right session today, right? So let's look a little bit at what I told you before, the right length for a blog post. Because I hear a lot of people say, "Yeah, I don't have the time to blog, like I have to run my business." Well, you have to run your business, but if you want to have growth, maybe you want to consider adding a blog to your website, a business website, right? But what about the right length of the blog post? And I'm sure you've heard lots of things about this. Well, the length of a blog post, in average, if you compute all the blogs everywhere, of course, this is based on studies, but is in average 1,236 words in average. But for great Google ranking, you should really shoot for between 1140 to 1285. So, it's around there in the average, right? However, only 18% of commercial blog posts are over 750 words. Okay, conclusion. Okay, I don't want to bother you with math, but I want to tell you what this means. If really for great Google ranking, we should shoot for over 1,140 words, and only 18% of commercial blog posts are over 750 words, then if you write a little longer articles, you're already ahead of the curve. You are ahead of your competitors. So, and people ask me, can I just copy paste an article somewhere? Well, no, there's of course copyright problems there, but also Google recognizes if you are copying, pasting word by word, and even changing a little, but not too much, content that has been published on another website. And how do they know who the plagiarist is? By date, of course. They Google, right? So yeah, unfortunately, a lot of this has to be original content that you post. Long posts create 9 times the sales leads of short ones. Okay, so my idea here was really to inundate you with numbers for you to start thinking, okay, maybe I need to put some time aside to invest in a blog for my business. So the numbers stop here, and at this point I wanted to know if there are any questions or any comments about these or any surprise. Anybody was surprised with these numbers? And just unmute yourself and just talk. Did any of these come as a surprise? No? Well, good. And yeah.
I think the only surprise I have is that, I mean, I guess for the blog, it's better to have more words, but then I feel like what we're always taught is keep everything short because people have short attention spans. So I guess that's the only surprise I have. So maybe on the search, it's good that it's long, but how do do you find that people kind of lose their attention if it's too long, or they look at it and say, oh, I'm not reading that, that's way too long?
Well, of course, there's ways around it, right? Because really, writing for the web in general is not the same as writing for the press, for print, right? And so there's things you can do, and that's when then the tools start being important, because some of these tools facilitate this or make it very easy to apply, and others not. But playing with font size, splitting your text in paragraphs, short sentences, interspersing your blog post with photos that are relative to what you're talking. So there's a lot of ways that you can make this content more appealing and more enticing and really make people focus. It is true that we are not very used to read, and we have short ADD, most of us, right? But in terms of Google ranking, it is important the number of words, because that's one of the factors. Although the algorithm behind Google ranking is kind of the secret of the gods, nobody really knows what it is, and there's a reason for it, because otherwise people would trump the system, which would not be good either. But one thing is clear: longer posts, Google ranks these higher. And because you're writing longer posts, in these longer posts you may be answering questions that me, with my cell phone, because remember that search is going to be increasingly with audio, I can ask, "Hey Siri," or "Okay Google," and I ask a question, and it turns out that in that very long blog post of yours about native Californian flowers what native Californian flowers I can grow in my backyard or something like that, that blog post will pop up. You see the logic?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. But a way to really, yeah.
I was wondering about.
Hey, Benjamin.
Hey, good to see you.
Good to see you.
I was wondering about, I guess, blogs that also record your voice as you. In other words, they can read off what's going on as well as read your text. Is there an advantage to those if they exist?
Well, I don't want to sort of like let me get back to you on that, right? But of course, that in some cases, like when you're working with a blind, which I have in the past, the software will do just that. Will read aloud what's in the blog, and because another situation I'm thinking is I'm married to a Russian, and when I'm following some blogs that he recommends, I actually have the translation orally immediately, and I'm sure that you can dictate to your computer using voice, and the blog article is written for you, and of course you should always correct the typos. But I'm not sure if this is what you're asking, Benjamin, or if I'm missing it.
Actually, I thought I saw something where they said that basically you can actually do a blog and put using your own voice, not just
Yeah.
to record it, but
Oh yes, I am sure, and that's a great idea, because if we have to write a lot, then why not use voice? But of course, needless to say, you should always proofread it afterwards, right? But yes, of course, there are tools for this, and this is one situation. If you are committed to developing your blog and to a certain number of words that each article should have, if you want to rank high on Google, yeah, I mean, this is one situation where you should absolutely use that.
thank you.
Thank you for bringing that up. Okay. What did I do here? I stopped sharing my screen, right? Okay, so let me share it again. I don't know if there were any more questions.
Yes, I have a question, and maybe this isn't the right time to ask, or maybe you will be
Ask away.
talking. I mean, yeah, maybe this will come up a little bit later, but will we be talking at some point about how blogging fits in with other forms of social media marketing?
Yes, and that's exactly one of the topics for next week, when we're going to talk about monetizing. That will be crucial, So yeah, next week I'm going to talk about exactly that.
Thank you.
And other things, but yeah, major focus on exactly that aspect. I guess we had not seen this last item. Those whose posts are over 2,000 words get the strongest results. So again, the same idea. So for great Google ranking, shoot for this, but really the posts even over 2,000 words get the strongest results. And you have a chart here that shows the average, and the bloggers who report strong results is your red line here. Okay. So question that I hear a lot. I don't know if it's in your heads or not. Maybe you have this clear in your heads, but what is the difference between a website and a blog? Well, we can say that typical websites, and I'll clarify what I mean by this. Typical websites are static in nature. It's like a website of a corporation. There's a homepage with their mission, their goals, probably their team, or eventually maybe people will get laid off and they will have to change the team every so often. But the homepage of a typical website is something of static in nature. Whereas in a blog, it's updated on a regular basis with new content. So a blog has this feeling, this nature of an organic nature, something that constantly changes. Turns out that Google loves that. In that very mysterious algorithm that Google has, one of the criteria is websites that change, the content changes, it's organic, that change, right? So another reason why we should consider blogs for our businesses, right? Because Google is going to reward us for having that blog on our businesses. But this is very bipolar, right? We have website and the blog here, and it's not really how things work, because really the blog is part of a website. Okay, so a blog is a website and is part of website. We have these amount of websites, and the blogs, there are less blogs than typical websites, because a blog is in itself a website. And the difference can be as little as this. In tools such as WordPress, there is, I don't know if there's any WordPress users here, but there is a little menu option called reading, and I won't go there today, but on that reading you can choose for your homepage to be the homepage, or to be the collection of posts, the blog that you would have written on that website. And whether you choose one or the other, you'll end up with something that looks like a typical website with static content on the homepage, or something that on the homepage we see articles. I'm sure you've seen this, right? With extracts of those articles and featured photos, okay? So it's as easy as just a choice of on a little menu option, right? You can choose to have the homepage of your business as a mostly static page, and this, I have to say, it's the most typical decision that the business owner will make, right? And to have as one of the pages of the website something called blog or stories or what's new or news, right? Where the blog posts are. This is the most typical situation. Now, about those two essential types of blogs that I told you about, and again, there's travel blogs, there's a lot, there's fashion blogs, there's blogs for women over 60. In fact, we're going to see one on your breakout rooms. Lots of blogs, but as far as how the blogs are hosted, there's two essential types: the hosted somewhere, and the self-hosted. Okay, so hosted, they can be hosted in WordPress.com, on something like Blogger, Squarespace, Tumblr, all these things. Self-hosted means that you are the one hosting the site. And then you have WordPress.org. It's interestingly enough, when it's self-hosted, it's .org. When it's hosted, it's WordPress.com. And then self-hosted, you have Wix, you have Squarespace, you have Shopify, okay? And you have many other things. But those of you who have websites already developed in Wix, in Shopify, maybe, I always say, consider Shopify if you're selling real products, physical products, and consider Wix. And of course you can use Wix for physical products as well. But if you have a consulting business, for instance, I would probably go more with Wix than Shopify. But anyway, both Wix and Shopify, with our very, very popular tools, they allow you to have a blog. So you have your business website. You may already have one. you could consider now adding a page that will be your blog. And I'll show you two Renaissance clients that I'm working with. One is she does tarot readings, and she sells gemstones and things metaphysical. And the other client is a florist, online florist, and one has Shopify and Wix. Both of them are starting to develop their little blogs, and I want you to see physically how you set that up with Wix and with Shopify. Okay, so you may ask me, okay, well, what should I do? Do I go with hosted? I go with self-hosted? It's really a question of cost, and also of what gives more freedom and what has more impact for your business. Okay, so the hosted in WordPress.com or things like Weebly and Blogger and Tumblr and all that can be free to up to $300 a month, because it will all depend on a lot of other features you may include, like this question somebody just asked about social media integration with blogs, right? Maybe there's features there that you can add to immediately automatically post from your blog to Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and maybe you have to pay $50 a month to have that added feature. Okay, so with hosted you go from free to $300. With the self-hosted, you can have a minimal cost of per month of domain name plus hosting, something like WordPress.org. You install your WordPress and you buy a domain on something like GoDaddy, and you have a minimum cost, really, like you develop your site on WordPress, and really your cost, if you do not add like expensive features, could be just the price of the domain, what you have to pay GoDaddy every year. That's about $10, something like that. And then you have self-hosted with a variable cost. If you're going with Wix, Shopify, etc., all these things, you have to pay, not because you have a blog, but you have to pay the platform where you're hosting your site, Wix or Shopify. And correct me if I'm wrong, because these numbers change, but with Shopify, really the lowest is, well, you can have like a buy button for $9. I'm not even going to talk about that. But with the Shopify, typical plans per month are $29 and $79 if you already have quite a bit of sales per month for the $79 plan. Okay, so $29, $79. For the weeks, and this is what I think it is about $39, $49. Sometimes they run discounts and sell $39, $49 per month. Any questions so far about the self-hosted and the hosted?
And I have a question about something else you said is that okay with the website versus?
Sure.
Okay. I understand what you mean by static, versus dynamic, but what I usually see on people's websites is at the top, they have a separate blog page. And are you saying that having that separate blog page and updating that with new blogs, once a week or something, is that enough to score well for Google? Or are you saying that the change has to happen on the home page of your website?
I'm saying that in spite of the secret of the gods, it is the general understanding that it is very, very advisable to have the homepage changing. And so I'm sure you've seen this. Was this Shafia?
No, this is Emily.
I thought I recognized the voice. Anyway, so one trick to achieve that, and I'm sure you've seen this, is that a lot of home pages right now, and there's a reason for it. We increasingly seeing websites on our cell phone. Okay, we scroll, and so the homepage needs to give us an immediate idea to grab the attention of your user of everything on the website, right? And so I'm sure you've seen this. Part of the latest blog posts are on the homepage, and we're going to see a couple of examples of that. there is a guarantee in itself that the homepage that Google is indexing has content that is changing dynamically. You see what I mean?
Yes. Okay, got it.
So let's go to the very important question of what do I need to have my blog? You need to register a domain. And there's a lot of parentheses here, like, well, yes, but, okay, so I'll go to those in a sec. But you have to register a domain. You have to get a hosting account, which means that your files need to be hosted somewhere. Again, there are exceptions, we'll see. And then you have to install WordPress, and of course you don't have to. You can install whatever tool you want, but with 40 people register, I had to do some choices, right? So I would suggest you install WordPress in your hosting account. Okay, so now let's talk about the but, okay? You have to register the domain, okay? But if you are working on something like Weebly or Blogger, they have a domain for you, okay? But you have to live with the fact that the domain will be something like joannasmith.weebly.com, anaventura.wix.com, paulsmith.shopify.com. You see where I'm getting with this? So both Wix and Shopify, by the way, just so you're not confused, will allow you, go buy your domain by all means, okay? And then just connect the anaventura.shopify.com to the domain that you will have bought from GoDaddy, no problem, okay? So to say that you do not necessarily have to register a domain if you are okay with having a non-branded website like joannasmith.weebly.com, joannasmith.blogger.com. Somebody has the mic on. Can I ask everybody to mute yourselves because there's some background noise, unless you're going to ask a question, of course. So is this clear? You do not necessarily need to register a new domain if you're going to host your site with somebody like Blogger or Weebly, but you have to live with this idea that your domain will then have to be something like this. Okay? If you want to, you have your floral shop and it turns out that it's sansfranciscoflowers.com, you absolutely need to register that domain, okay? And that's a very minimum cost. Sometimes, well, all these companies run sales and stuff, but not impossible to get a domain per year for $10. Not impossible, okay? Then you get a hosting account. If you already have a website, Wix, Shopify, you develop your blog there as a page. And so you don't need a hosting account. Why? Because your hosting account is actually with Wix or with Shopify. Those are the big companies that are hosting your site. So you don't need to get one special because you already have with Wix or Shopify. Is that clear? And then the installation of WordPress is totally up to you. There are several, Wix and Shopify offer you simple ways to develop a blog, but I would recommend that you go, I mean, I need to do some recommendations, otherwise I wouldn't be doing my job, right? So I personally like to work with Bluehost to acquire my domain and hosting it, because if I host it there, they offer me the domain, the registration. And then I like to work with them because they have a one-button WordPress installation. Literally, I click on one particular button and WordPress is installed on my Bluehost account. So personally, I love Bluehost, but you choose whatever you want, and I have no commercial interest in defending one tool over another. Okay, so here are some. And we're talking here, if you see here on the side here, I see register domain. So we're talking about domain registration. Here are the three that I would say the best for different reasons. And I did not mean those to disappear, but anyway, Bluehost has a great 24/7 customer service. For me, there's nothing like being able to pick up a phone at 2 a.m. on a Saturday and I have somebody answering on the other end, and helping me. So I really like Bluehost customer service. GoDaddy is the most popular, service, so there's something to be said about that. And then SiteGround has been scored lately as the fastest. So if your domain is registered SiteGround, they have their technologies and their servers set up in a way that, they say it's the fastest. And of course, there's tests about it that are published in magazines of the specialty, right? Sometimes it's fractions of seconds faster, but anyway, so here are my three favorite that I would recommend when you're registering your domain. Okay, so now if you're going to host, we saw, and if you're thinking of WordPress, then you go with wordpress.com. And you'll ask, well, what does she mean? What does she mean? You go with, of course, that after this session, I'll follow up this session with a very practical email on your options to register your domain and your options to host your site. But if you decide to host your site and you're interested in having more help from me, more assistance, which will be with WordPress, then go with wordpress.com. And then if you're thinking of self-hosting by yourself the site, then go with wordpress.org. Okay? Everything okay so far? Can go forward? So here's the homepage of Bluehost, which again, it's my personal choice. Some of you will say, oh, I had terrible experience with Bluehost. I much prefer GoDaddy. The best hosting service is the one we use, right? So I use Bluehost, and of course, because for me, I favor customer service over, for instance, speed, so it really depends on your criteria and what you favor. So at this point, let me get out of my PowerPoint and show you the website, the Bluehost. And really what I want to show here is your steps from now to next Tuesday if you were to acquire a domain. Okay, it does not have to be with Bluehost. It can be with GoDaddy. And on that email, I'll send you like a cheat sheet on how to go with SiteGround, Bluehost, or GoDaddy. So the choice is yours. But let's imagine that you're going with Bluehost. So there's a big button here that says host your site. Another one here says start building. Okay, I like this price, $2.95 a month. They say you have a free domain for first year. It's only for the first year. Actually, I'm such a good client of them that they actually never charge me for the domain for the remaining years. But anyway, supposedly free domain is just for the first year. You get a free SSL certificate. I'm not going to bother you with this, but increasingly sites need to have this SSL certificate for safety reasons. Definitely if you have a business website or you're doing credit card transactions, there's no way you can make that happen without this SSL kind of level of security. And a lot of these GoDaddy, etc., charge for that extra level. Not Bluehost, it's free. Okay, one-click WordPress install, as I told you, and then expert 24/7 support. So we've ended the session today. I mean, not yet, but let's pretend. And you're going to buy your domain. You have decided what will it be. You would be going here, or GoDaddy, or SiteGround, and you would follow this process. Okay, bring your website to life. What would you like? Would you like to sign up for 12 months or for 36 months? Would you like a basic, a plus, a choice plus, a pro? At our level, from what I understand your needs are, I would absolutely say go with basic or maybe plus, but basic should be plenty. Normally $9.99, you have $2.95. You know, it's been $2.95 for the last 3 months, but anyway. I would select here. It says auto renews. I will be entitled to one website. With the plus, I'm entitled to unlimited websites. But if you want just one website, you can go with the basic. I select it. And then, very important, it asks me, now we'll set up your domain. Do you want to create a new one, or do you want to use a domain you own? Okay, so very important. Imagine that you will acquire your domain with GoDaddy. You would use this part here, because now you're going to host it. Host your files with Bluehost, but your domain is already registered with GoDaddy. No problem. Or you're going to have everything in the same bag, which is what I prefer. I'll tell you why. It's not been once or twice, but many times that a site crashes, it's hacked or something. And when I have a site registered with GoDaddy and hosted with Bluehost, it's the blame, game. So Bluehost says, oh, it's GoDaddy, and GoDaddy says it's Bluehost. So I like to have all my eggs in the same basket in this case. So if I want a Bluehost, to host and register with Bluehost, I say, I want to create a new domain. And this is something I have in memory because I'm working on this website. And I would say I want to, well, I'm sure nobody has this website, so I want to create a new domain. And I can create .net, .org. As you can imagine, to be a .org, it should be a nonprofit. Although theoretically you can create a .org, but anyway, it should be a nonprofit. And you have all these possibilities, even British .uk sites. I recommend you go with .com. Okay, a lot of people say, oh, .com is taken. I'm going to say .net. I recommend against. Why? Because you're at a coffee shop, you're talking about your amazing business, and you say, oh, by the way, it's .net. And I swear to you, or I guarantee you, that the person will go home and say, oh, what was it? And she'll try and she'll put .com. Most commercial sites are still .com. This is changing. Some are .biz, etc. But it's still, I recommend .com. And then you'd say, next. I'm following the steps. And now you say, oh my gosh, the domain is available. How surprising, right? If it was not available, it would say that it's not available, and you would have several options. One is to buy from the current owner of the domain, and that sometimes can be thousands of dollars. And another option is that Bluehost will suggest, okay, well, that's taken, but how about these? And they'll suggest similar domain names that are available, okay? So I will skip over these. Of course, you would have to put your account information. You'd have to choose if you want a 1-year plan or a 3-year plan. And a few things here that I will tell you on my email, what I suggest you get, and then your credit card information, and then you submit, and then you receive email from Bluehost with information on how to log into your account. Okay, so this is literally a 2-minute process if your domain is available. Okay. I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint. At this point, I'm going to ask any questions so far, or you're all good?
I have a question.
Please.
So I see that you had mentioned something about Shopify. So Shopify, I can create a blog entry on my Shopify account.
Yes, and since you asked that, let me go back to where I was. Because I actually opened the account, like I opened the browser with the websites of the lady who has the store called Enchanted Pathways. Am I sharing my screen? I am, right? Yeah.
Yes.
To show you where that's being done in her
Okay.
Shopify. Yeah. And
Okay.
also same thing. Okay, so this is her website. I'm going to like open it so you see. Okay, this is her website, and we're still arguing about the photos. That's another story. But anyway, so she's got something called the Lady Luna blog. Okay, so she's got a blog, right? But what I want to show you is, what is your name? I'm sorry.
Ashley.
Ashley. So what I want to show you is where this is done. So if you have a Shopify store, you know this menu, right?
Yes.
And you have the online store, you have the themes, and you have the
The blog.
posts.
Okay.
Okay? We have 3 that we wrote, and I can go to any of these, and we still like with the iStock. This site is not live, by the way, with the iStock images. Yada 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 yada. This was to tell her that, and in response to somebody who was asking before, people don't have much patience to read a long blog posts. She asked the same question. I told her, you see, you can insert photos across your post. You don't have to use just the first one. You can insert. So it was to exemplify that. Anyway, yeah. So with Shopify, this is where they are. In this case, we have only 3, and we can see any of them, right? Or I can prefer to go to the actual store. People that are not used to Shopify are probably very confused, but those of you who have Shopify, this. So if I click Lady Luna blog, here are her 3 posts. This is her blog. I've chosen to put them in rows of only 3. They could be less or more. I chose to put just the date when it was created and who created it and the title of the blog. This could be different. We could have a little extract of the blog article. Yeah. So, but this is her blog. Now, I might as well tell Wix users here in the call. I don't know if we have. So this is a website I'm doing for clients of Renaissance who are online florists. I'll show you the site in a sec. But on Wix, it is here. Blog, overview, publish, draft, scheduled, because I'm feeling very inspired on Sunday afternoon, but it's a terrible day. Nobody's reading blog posts. So I'm going to write those blog posts, but I'm going to schedule them. So that 2 of them go on Wednesday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and the other one it's Friday, you see, so I can schedule. But this is where the blog is on Wix. In their case, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I see that she has been adding some. And if we were to see how they look, here is the website. Okay, edit site. Again, also not live yet, but yeah, it always takes a little. Okay. Okay, so here's their website, and yes, so in their case, we decided to have there's shop, plans, about us, weddings, and events, and contact, and we have not yet put blog on their menu. Okay, which is actually reassuring for you all, because you can have your business site that looks a certain way right now, and you can Start writing your blog posts and start enriching them with photos. And when you feel you're ready, then you add the blog link on your menu. So they haven't posted it yet, but it's there. So the blog already has 5. And this is where it is, blog here. Okay. I'll go back to my. We are about 1 hour into our presentation. Was that helpful to the previous person? Was that helpful?
Yes, it was. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I
Yes.
have a question. So you're saying that the blog is going to show on the website menu, or no?
Yes. No, I am saying that there are several options here. Some people may want to have just a blog. That's it. So the only page they have is a blog. I go to their website and I see a blog with several photos, with posts, okay? And we'll see an example in a sec. A lot of you may already have a website for your business or been thinking about it. Maybe it'll have an about us, a contact, maybe a team page, a story behind your business, right? And then you could have a blog page. That blog can be called blog. It can be called like Lady Luna blog because she's into metaphysics. That's how she baptized her blog. But it could be anything else. I will show you in a sec a blog, a website where the blog is called Stories, because that's how the author decided I'm going to publish stories on this blog. You see? So there's all possibilities here. If the blog is fundamental for me, for my store, then I'm going to make my homepage is going to be the blog. And when I go to ashleysmith.com, what I see on ashleysmith.com is a bunch of photos with the titles, the author, the excerpt. I've been saying extract. I meant excerpt. The extra excerpt of the blog article, right? And then she may have about us, contact, shop. These may be other pages of a website. You see? It really depends on what I decide to have on my homepage. Is it going to be a static homepage with the traditional information about us, mission, goals, or is it going to be something very dynamic, blog posts? Or, as I told somebody else some minutes ago, can I guarantee that the homepage will also have some dynamic content by having at least the latest blog posts there? That way I have about us, I have the mission, the main team members, and then I have the latest blog posts. This way I guarantee my homepage has live content, organic content, and Google will like it and will start ranking me higher. You see, was that confusing? Or I think that when I show you some examples.
Yeah, I think it would be good to see some example because what I'm thinking is that I have my website for my business.
Yeah.
And if I want to add a blog to that, yeah, like my other question is like, should I call it blog? Should I call it something else? What is more attractive?
You can call blog because everybody knows what a blog is. I absolutely was 100% behind the decision of, her name is Diana, by the way, of having Lady Luna blog because that's how she brands herself on Instagram, on Facebook, and because it's all about metaphysics and, exotic stuff. And so I said, yes, let's put Lady Luna blog. It could be stories, it could be news. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Those are some of the most common names for that section or page. So the annual cost, we're really talking about $10 annual for a domain name. I mean, you have to work a little to find these prices, but it's not impossible. $10 a domain name, $70 for hosting for a basic site with Bluehost, for instance, is $70 a year. And because with Bluehost, the $10 is included, okay? And monthly cost, and I'm separating annual and monthly because Wix and Shopify usually work in terms of months, right? Although sometimes they do discounts if you pay upfront for the 12 months. Not everybody can do that. But average Wix can be free to $49. Those of you who are familiar with Face to Careers and run the website I just redid using Wix, but because we have some special features there, we are paying some, there's a cost associated per month. And then Shopify, $29 or $79 is what I think most people in this call would be interested in if they go with Shopify. I don't think nobody's going like $300. You have to have a lot of sales to justify that cost, Shopify per month. But with Wix and Shopify, if you are not happy with having something like anna.wix.com, you still have to buy your domain, okay? With GoDaddy or with Bluehost or SiteGround or lots of other services. You still have to buy your domain name, even if you have your site with Wix or Shopify. If you do not want your business to be something.shopify.com or something.wix.com. Is that clear? So we're talking about a very reasonable cost, right? Especially to register your domain and hosting it yourself. These are very reasonable. Annual here and monthly here. Okay, so we're almost on the breakout rooms. And I really want you to go into your breakout rooms because I want people to say, this is my business, or this is the business I'm thinking of building, and this is what I already have a blog, or I don't have a blog, so I want you to know each other. And we're going to be looking at two blogs, and I chose them for a very simple reason, that they are very different and their markets are very different. They are very different because their markets are very different. Okay, so one is 60andMe. As you can imagine, it's for women. Well, it didn't need to be women, but it is women over 60. And Pilot Patrick, which is just off the top of my head from looking at the content, it's not written, but I would say it's mostly for a male type of audience over 25 years of age, or pilots, or then pilot dreamers, or mostly men and women too who would like to be pilots. Okay, so and this is 60andMe. This is how it looks like, 60andme.com, because I will ask you in a sec to go to this. So if you can take a note, 60andme.com, because I want to have the rules of the breakout rooms up on the screen. And then the other one is pilotpatrick.com. Immediately you see very, very different style, right? Of photos, of everything, of message, of who is on the photos in one, who is on the photos on the other one. Okay, so breakout rooms. I just got somebody to walk in. Okay, so on the breakout rooms, here are the rules. And we'll do the breakout rooms in a second. Whoever just joined, can you mute your mic? Can you mute your mic, please? Can you mute yourself? Thank you. So in your breakout room, and to whoever just joined, we are now going into breakout rooms, okay? So I'm going to assign them randomly. And in your breakout room, everybody's going to say their birthday, and the person with the closest birthday is going to be timing, and it's going to make sure that everybody has a chance to talk, okay? And it's going to pay attention to the broadcast, because every so often there'll be a little broadcast text that'll show up with my warning of how we are with time, okay? So person with the closest birthday to today is going to be the timer. Make sure everybody has a chance to talk, pays attention to the broadcast pieces. So in 3 minutes, we're going to do mutual introductions, first names, you have a business, which area, you know, what you're thinking of doing in terms of a blog. And if anybody needs to clarify goals of our activity here in the breakout rooms, you know, everybody else will help. Okay, so 3 minutes for this. And then 15 minutes individually, I would like each person to go to the 60ME and go to the Pilot Patrick blog, okay? And really browse, and of course you are in a group, so you are individually opening these websites on your computers or cell phones, but you are discussing what you think, what is your favorite, why, how is the font different, how are the photos different, the tone, the message, you know. So I would like you to discuss message tone, home page, how is it different in one case or the other, style, color, font, you know, of each. Okay, so is everybody clear on this? And then I would like 2 minutes to wrap up, final comments and goodbyes, because I hate when we all like don't even have a chance to say goodbye. So I have 2 minutes to just like wrap up, final comments and goodbyes. So everybody clear on the task? And if everybody has read this, I'm going to put the the blogs again. Pilotpatrick.com. Everybody noting that down? Pilotpatrick.com. And the other one is 60andme. It's 60, not 60, but 60andme.com. Okay? Everybody good? So going to put rules again, and I'm going to start assigning everybody. I'm gonna ask Zach for a little help here. So we have 17 participants, including the two of us. That's 5. So I'm going to make 5 rooms of 3 people each.
Okay.
Okay, and then Zach, if you and I can like jump
Sure.
in and out. Thank you. I thought that I hope it was I'm hearing echo. Can I ask everybody to mute yourselves? Okay. So I hope that you had a chance to look over those sites. I really think they could not be more different, but I am curious about your opinions. So anybody who wants to say what was discussed in their groups, just go ahead and mute yourselves and talk away. I'm curious.
60andme was just too much stuff, just way too much.
Uh-huh. Too much information?
Yeah, TMI. And
Uh-huh.
and far as pictures went, TMI for Pilot Patrick. That guy, basically, it looked like a magazine for women and gay men.
Any other comments? Anyone?
Yeah, so for me, I think the 60andme was like a lot of different articles written by different people. And I agree, it was a little bit all over the place, but I guess that's because they were trying to cover many topics. But if I was a woman 60 or older, I think that it might be something interesting to be able to go to one place and read different articles about different things. And 60 Patrick Pilot, that was like really a self-centered blog. But
To the extreme, I agree. Let me share, and feel free to unmute yourselves and share what you thought. But meantime, I'm going to put the 2 sites on. And to the lady who asked me first an example of how a website can be a blog in itself, So when I write 60andme.com, what I get is this, right? And so the homepage has a format for blog posts. So this is a blog posts with a photo. Sometimes there's different criteria for the size of the photo. Sometimes some of these platforms allow for, like, the most popular blog post that was most read will be the one where the image has the greater real estate kind of on the screen. Anyway, or sometimes it's just by chance, or sometimes it's the latest. But anyway, oh, this was posted 31 minutes ago, so I bet this is because this was the most recent. So, there's a category here, lifestyle. There's a little zoom in effect, which is always good because it's a way for the user to know, okay, now I have my mouse here, now I have my mouse here. So if I click, I'll go into this article, right? I have, of course, to read more. Then I have yet a different type to have the posts, which is a carousel. In this case, I have a carousel, so I can, see posts before and after. Then I have a little game, a little, mahjong thing that you put here in the middle. It's sort of like embedded there. And then we have yet a different type of blog post where there's, here we don't have any excerpt, not extract. And here we have excerpts, right? And of course, the category, makeup and fashion, and the author, and how long ago it was posted, featured, and of course that I can go into any of this. But as Benjamin said, maybe a little too much, as opposed to, like, the pilot Patrick, to say something about this guy. The design is very clean, and he's got something interesting here called vlog. He's got a blog with several categories that are immediately readily accessible with a drop-down menu. Become a pilot, aviation, travel, lifestyle, events, charity, okay? And he's got something interesting called vlog. As you can imagine, it's a blog of videos. It's
Welcome
actually...
aboard. This is your captain speaking. My name is Patrick, Pilot Patrick, and
My name is Patrick. Okay, so actually the vlog connects directly to his YouTube channel, where you see that the same tone, same kind of imagery. It's Patrick, right? And of course, videos, playlists, community. And of course, 60andMe also has a YouTube channel, and you see that the kind of branding, the kind of font, the pink, the kind of groups of women, instead of just focusing on this woman, who, by the way, is the blogger who started this blog. But anyway, it carries across platforms. The brand carries across platforms. I bet that Facebook and on Instagram, the brand will have the same voice. With Pilot Patrick is like me, right? And with 60andMe is a little different. But
Here with 60andMe. I hope that you're having a wonderful day wherever you are in the world, and I want to thank you for being here. You're very important to me, and I've got something today that I want to share with you, which has been a labor of love for me for some time now.
Anyway, so this has 51,000 views. And this woman, as far as marketing, she is very smart. As we will see next Tuesday when we talk about monetization of these things, of blogs. But to go back to that question about, is a website a blog a website, where is the blog on a website? Okay, when I go to pilotpatrick.com and when I go to 60andMe, what I have is a blog. In the case of 60andMe, the menu are categories of that blog. And in the case of Pilot Patrick, there are categories, but they are as a drop-down menu. There's a vlog link that directly connects to the YouTube channel. Everybody with me? And then there is an about, which is about guess what, Patrick, right? And of course, that very easily he could have made this the homepage, but he didn't. The blog is the homepage, meaning that that right now I'm on pilotpatrick.com/about, okay? And if I go to frequently asked questions about him, oh my gosh, there's something that's not, it's code that should not be showing up. But anyway, about, but the blog is, if I go to pilotpatrick.com, what I see is a blog. Okay, so here is an example, two examples of sites where the homepage is the dynamic content, is the blog. Okay, and so we have the chance to see their YouTube. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my presentation.
I have a question.
Sure.
You shared earlier today the Shopify, I guess, from your friend,
Yes.
but you showed it from like the editor's point of view. Is there any way that we could see like the website? Because that's a shopping website, right?
Yes.
A shopping website with the blog.
Now, can
That's
you?
an example.
Yes. Do you mind? Will you be with us until the end today?
Yes.
Okay. Do you mind if I cover that and remind me if it slipped my mind? But do you mind if I cover that at the end, because I do want to revisit those, the Shopify and the Wix. And so I'll
Okay.
talk about it then. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Does not have the blog active yet, so you know, like the florist. But I think you're talking about the Shopify, and her blog is live. So yeah, so I'll touch on it again. Yes. So we did this, and of course, that the whole conclusion of this activity was really that you need to customize your blog, and that's where our space to be creative is, right? Because you really have to define your market, who is your audience, and then customize your blog to according to your market, right? In terms of colors, in terms of fonts, to say something good about Patrick Pilot, or Patrick Pilot. I do like his clean look. It's there's a lot of black and dark gray, so I think he's targeting his niche, his market fine, and so is she, you know. And the voice, of course, the me in Pilot Patrick, you know, very, or Patrick Pilot, very appropriate, right? So all of these things, it's your margin, your space to be creative, really, and to think always about who am I wanting to talk to, who is my market. Of course, the tone and message, even the type of photos, because he's got some a bit scandalous photos there, showing the six-pack, right? Okay, and we did see their YouTube channels. Don't forget that you can have a vlog like he has, which is a direct link to his YouTube channel. So the branding of the blogger is like going migrating across social media channels, you know, as it should be, because it's all about branding, right? So here is the YouTube for 16Me and the YouTube front page for Pilot Patrick. Okay, when I was visiting the rooms, I heard somebody talk about traveling blogs, and I was saying, you know, that's exactly what my examples next are. And let me look at the time. We are at 2:40, so I'm going to go through these because I really want to show the Shopify and the Wix again. So here are examples of travel blogs. I'm sorry. One is the Wandering Earl, and here it is, and I'll show it in a sec. And this is one man, and I tell you, there's so many men's travel blogs, so I had to include, of course, one with a woman. But for Wandering Earl, I wanted you to see how the blog is a page within the website. We'll see it in a sec. And I want us to look at his categories, okay? So at this point, let me show you that site. I'm sorry, but I have to keep changing from my browser to the PowerPoint. Okay, so here it is. So here's the Wandering Earl. Welcome, I'm Earl. Travel is my life. Since 1999, I've been traveling around the world. Okay, so let's get started. Now, this is really great. He's got 2 buttons because he is anticipating that there are 2 reasons why people should visit his site. Either you just want to browse the blog and see what he's been posting, or you want some travel resources, some tips on where to go, what to bring, type of luggage even to buy, So this is very, very smart. Then, he's got some statistics, 126 countries visited and where he's at in USA and how many days on the road. Let's look at the blog. He's got it by latest posts or browsed by category. Now, I really like the way he's got these categorized. So I'm going to the blog categories. He's got travel advice, work and travel, perspectives like the digital nomad lifestyle, these people that just build websites from Angola or whatever and can work from anywhere. So this idea of the digital nomad. By country, food, personal stuff, travel gear, travel costs, interesting people, how to, transportation, travel tales, and then you can also browse by country. So for me, this is a very well built blog, okay? But his blog is within his website. When I go to wanderingearl.com, what I see is a homepage with static content, okay? But as I said, in his homepage, he introduces some dynamic content because part of his homepage is a reference to his blog posts, okay, where he's using again his great categories, okay? Then he's got popular reads, highlighted posts, as seen in. It's really very, very, very dynamic content, his homepage. But still, the blog is one page of his website. Okay, then he's got travel resources, he's got contact, and he obviously does tours, which is the monetizing aspect of this website. Keep that in mind, okay? Okay, on to the adventurous Kate. This is her homepage. Hi, I'm Kate. I teach women how to travel the world safely. I'm here to help you. Here's the pink as a little hint that this is for women. Learn more about me. So static content, a way for her to collect your name and email to then inundate your mailbox with newsletters, right? Subscribe to the blog. I mean, very smart. 2 testimonials, travel guides, and here we go. On the homepage, there are some latest blog posts. So that's her clever way to make sure there's dynamic content on the homepage. Okay, more from the blog. And then she's got top destinations. This, I am pretty sure, can't remember, but this is, could be static content, or she could have posted as a blog post. We don't know, but this could very much be static content because it's something that is on her homepage about Paris, about Italy, about New York. You see, but the blog posts are here, the latest ones. And what does she have? She's got about with the drop-down menu where I've been, press, work with Kate, destinations, some tips on solo female travel. At age 26, I quit my job to travel the world alone, blah, blah, blah. Travel resources. This I am 90% sure is static comment. She did this page and it's there. Of course that she can change the content anytime, but I mean, it's not a blog post. And then contact. And a cute little logo, by the way, which kind of stresses her brand. And then the most different, I think, it's Ali and Nico Digital Nomads. This is aliandnico.com. I really love this as a homepage because it tells me everything about this couple, their style, their lifestyle. I can go through here, or I can go to their hamburger. This is called the hamburger menu, right? And on the hamburger menu, I can go to home, blog. I can have info about the pandemic, about, contact us. Let's go to the about. A little about us. Here's a photo. Now I associate them with the blog and the blog with them. And they say a little something about them. We are Ellie and Nico, remote working destination hopping couple from New York. Welcome to our digital nomad and lifestyles page, blah, blah, blah. So this is static content. Same with contact us. I'm sure the pandemic info is also static information. Actually, it looks like a blog. Yeah, this is actually another blog, because of course you can have a blog with several categories, and each category is a section of your site, like Earl had, the Wandering Earl. And then the blog itself is here. How to travel with only carry-on, tips on how to sail through airport security, etc. Okay, I really like the fresh look of this site. But anyway, again, this is for you to all explore, because you all get the PowerPoint. Okay. What happened here? Oh, okay. So you all have these references and what I like the most about each. Okay, you may agree with me or not. I really like the clean layout of that last one. And here are some two blogs on flowers. And in this case, the blog is a page within a website. Okay. So before we go forward, let me show you those. I hate to have to jump, but there's no other way. Okay, so here is Real Flower Business. This woman is a consultant for floral businesses. And if I go to realflowerbusiness.com, what I have is a classic static page where she has been featured, blah blah, mission, goals, photos, and one of these things is her blog. You see what I'm getting at? So in this case, the blog is one page that is called Blog and Freebies within her website. Okay. This one, floretflowers.com, same thing. Website talks about the business. It's got lots of stuff. It's got the latest blog posts. It's got our story. It's got a nice photo, and it's got some more blog posts. Okay, a little video. So it's mostly a homepage, classic homepage, but there's a lot of dynamic content here. Would you agree with me? And then the blog is here. I love this blog because I love these photos. They're just so appealing. You know, you go to the blog, but now I'm within the blog, you see. And I have these beautiful photos, and I have the date when this was posted, and the header, and an excerpt, and of course that I can read any of these in its entirety. And notice how she has photos interspersed to make the reading more pleasant. It would be very boring to have all this text. So she intersperses photos on her blog article. Okay, so I did want to show you these. Back to the PowerPoint. Sorry if this is a little confusing. If anybody has questions, just ask away. And my two last examples are the Time Out magazine and something called deemjournal.com. Somebody was asking me about what name to give the blog. Well, I really like this Deem Journal because in this case, the name that was given was Stories. Okay, and here is the blog of Deem. Okay, so at this point again, I go to my I just want to show you. Okay, I want to show you timeout. So timeout is a blog. I'm on timeout.com. And what do I see? I see a blog, okay? And each thing is a blog category. Travel, kids, movies, music, climate action, time in, time out to market. All these are posts. So here is an example where I'm going to close this. Monetization of blogs is what they're doing there, right? But so timeout is the website is a blog where the top menu are different categories of the blog. Is everybody clear on that? And then this beautiful last one, I wanted to show you the theme. The theme on this theme website, the stories. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Oh, gosh. Okay, we're almost there. The example of the Dean Journal. Okay, here the Dean Journal, which is about to show up any second now, has, this is the homepage. DIM is a biannual print journal online platform focused on design and social practice. And then there are some latest blog posts, and then there's the newsletter subscription. So there is some permanent static content, some dynamic content, but the blog, I love how she calls it stories. Okay, and so now I'm on the blog. Big real estate dedicated to the photos, right? And of course, again, photo, and we can click on any of these to see the content within, okay? In this case, some photos interspersed as well. You see how she plays with font, guiding our eye so that it's easier to read a long article, and of course, a lot of photos, okay? So blog name in this case is stories, and then there's a shop, and then there's an about, and then the stock is in the reference room. Okay, so any questions? Otherwise, I will tell you what we're going to talk about next week. But I want you to think about all these ways to monetize your blog. Offer paid memberships plans. Become a freelance blogger. Like I could see how Shafia could get hired by somebody with a blog about birds, and she would be their expert freelance blogger and make her money that way. Make money from online ads, which is what I was getting there with Timeout. They had all those ads showing up. Become an affiliate marketer. We're going to talk about this. Write sponsored posts. You know, somebody pays you to write the post for them, for their brand. Get sponsored by a brand. Ask for donations. Sell ebooks. Sell online courses. Start a podcast. Create a webinar. Host a virtual summit. Offer coaching or consulting services. Sell merchandise, which is what their traveling couple from New York, they do. Or continually promote your blog until you get into one of these items here. So many ways to monetize your blog. This guy is very surprised because in fact there is homework. And your homework will be for you to decide on what topic your blog will be, what domain name you want to have for it, and I'm going to send you an email helping you out on knowing if that domain has been taken or not, okay? And then I will have one office hour, and I have to say I'm not being paid for this office hour. So it really has to be only one, and it's going to be this Saturday from 5 to 6. I'll send everyone a Zoom link, and whoever wants to jump in at any point between 5 and 6 this Saturday can jump in, and I can help you with if you're having trouble registering your domain or hosting your account, if you have questions. But I want everyone to have chosen your domain name and have a hosting account by this coming Tuesday. Those of you who will go with Bluehost and WordPress, I can assist live this coming Tuesday. The others, I will not be able to assist everyone, right? So I'm hoping that everybody will have a domain and get your hosting account, and that most of you will follow my lead and install WordPress in your Bluehost account, because then I can really help you here live. Okay, so office hour this Saturday 5 to 6. Let me very quickly, we're just finishing. I wanted just to revisit that website on Shopify. Okay, so to the lady who just asked me, can we see it live? Yes, it is live. It is live. It's just that, how can I say, we have not completed the site, so we don't want to make it public yet. But here it is. This is how it will look when it's live. Lady Luna blog is here, and the way that we work on these blog posts is by going to the kind of backstage of the store. We have blog posts, and they're all here. And I could go to any of these and say, I don't like this image. I would replace it with anything else. And by the way, you see that after each post, we have the possibility to answer that other lady who asked me about the connection to social media. We can share any blog post to Facebook. Okay, so that's with Shopify. With Wix, it's not visible here because we have not worked on the blog enough, but hopefully it was clear that where the blog is here. Also, backstage of Wix has this look, okay, and this is where all the blog posts are. So, she's got one on the California poppy because they're all about California native flowers. And yay, I'm happy with her because I told her you need to intersperse, put photos in the middle of your post, and here they are. She's got some links, that link to other pages. This is very good for Google ranking, that you don't just write, no, that you connect to other websites. That's good. Google rewards you for doing that. And the best way for Google to reward you is for credible sources like the Times to mention your blog. That's like your site, your blog would jump like #1 on Google when somebody's looking for your industry. This is an exaggeration, but you see what I mean. It's very important for your blog or your website, for that matter, to be mentioned, to be linked to from credible sources like the San Francisco Chronicle or whatever. Okay, so I at this point have concluded. I really appreciate those of you who stayed, but don't forget that this Saturday, just log in to the link that I will send you by email anytime between 5 and 6 Pacific time. I'll be there, and with any questions you have, I can share the screen. I can have you share the screen if you have doubts where you go on Bluehost or GoDaddy or whatever. Okay, but it has to be this hour, Saturday. Okay. So we covered the thinking and the demystifying, and we're on to the doing and the monetizing, and then the last one will be the showing and the planning ahead. Okay. Well, thank you so much. And I want to leave you with this form that I will copy and paste onto the chat. And this is if you'd like a one-on-one consulting with me, you can fill out this form, and then it's really not up to me. It's up to the Renaissance Center, okay? But I'll put it on the chat because you never know. And it could be interesting for you. So, okay, there it goes. Yeah, I'm now going through the chat comments that people said is being recorded. Yes, somebody asked if the blog feels too long, just word fillers. Yeah, do not use word fillers. Google does not like that, and of course, Google is becoming very intelligent. Artificial intelligence is going to becoming increasingly built in with Google. So don't use word fillers. Just use your natural language, because that's how searches, especially audio searches, will increasingly take place. Natural language, you know. So yeah, unfortunately, the ideal blog post is a little lengthy. That's true. Any questions? Any final questions? Just unmute yourself and feel free to ask away. If not, thank you so much for staying with me until this late. And you should expect today this presentation sent as a PDF, and also some little hints on how to, with Bluehost, see if your domain that you would like has been taken or not, and the process to acquire it. Okay. Everybody.
I should be able to get the recording up, and hopefully today, maybe tomorrow, but no later than tomorrow.
Oh, thank you so much for this. Oh, I'm glad, Eva, Diane, Angela, really glad. I hope this was helpful. So don't forget, next Tuesday is going to be about how to make money with this. And that will include the, of course, how we're going to connect a blog post with social media. That's where the practical part becomes important, and that's why I'm hoping everybody will actually do the steps that I'll send you by email and actually install WordPress, because then we can advance so much more. Otherwise, it's all in the theoretical realm, okay? So I would really like you to get your domain, get your hosting, and install WordPress. Then we will be working live, okay? Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Zach. Really appreciate your help.
Oh, thanks everyone for coming, and thanks especially Anna. That was great. I will stop recording.